Hey, what's going on, you guys? Back with another episode of Paranormal Hunting. I'm your host, Paranormal Hunter 247. I've been getting a lot of messages and questions about how I can tell an item is haunted. So I'm going to do a video today where I show you exactly how you can tell if an item is haunted or cursed. I have 3 dolls here that very well may be haunted. I haven't checked yet, so I'm just going to show you guys how I would do that on my own. Hopefully you guys like this video, and maybe you guys can learn something. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is why might you think a doll is haunted? There's a couple things to look for. Any unexplained movement is one huge indicator that your doll might be haunted, but also there are smaller little indicators like creepiness of the eyes, creepiness of the skin, creepiness of the hair, pretty much just an overall general creepiness that a haunted doll will hold that lets you know that it's not of this world. This one in particular, a little creepy. The eyes definitely are creepy. The eyes have kind of a greenish film over them that makes it seem a little soulless, a little horrifying, if you will. But the big thing for me that made me think this doll might be haunted was a little unexplained movement that caught me off guard the first time I saw this doll. So I'm going to try to show it to you now. Keep an eye on her head. You see that? You see that right there? Her eyes actually close. And when you sit her up, her eyes open again. So if you look again, eyes closed, eyes open. Now, to someone who's not an expert, that might seem like surefire evidence that this doll is possessed. But through a little bit of research, I found that that's actually a mechanism inside the head of the doll itself. It's a little weighted mechanism that makes the eyelids close when it lays down and open when it stands up to simulate waking and falling asleep. So right there, it's kind of discounted because if it was haunted, any mechanisms like that would cease to work, and they would be controlled by the actual spirit inside the doll. So I'm going to say this one right now discounted. So the second doll here seems like it might be a little more haunted than the last one. A nice solid indicator is that it is not quite a porcelain doll, but it's more of a porcelain doll than the last. It's less of a soft plastic. Usually if a doll is going to be haunted, it's going to have some type of porcelain appearance. So this one, pretty good contender to be haunted. A good indicator is if it has jewelry. This one has a little necklace. The jewelry or the amulet itself could be a source of power for some type of spirit, so that's usually a good sign of a doll being haunted. On the downside though, this doll doesn't have really any sense of malice on its face. It looks a little more confused or aloof, and the eyes are a little blue and optimistic. As far as looks are concerned, I would say this is not a haunted doll. But the next step to find out if a doll is haunted is you need to ask it if it's haunted, and usually they'll answer if they are. And I'm not worried enough about this doll to go to step 3 with it, because I think I'm going to find my answer on step 2. So all you have to say is, "Doll, are you haunted?" See, no response. Usually there's a little bit of shaking, a little bit of movement. So I think it's pretty safe to say that this doll is also not haunted, which is a good thing. So this last doll out of all of them I think has the highest potential to be haunted. The reason I feel that way is because you can see that the skin is a little more white and corpse-like. You can see the lace front for the hair. The outfit is very dingy and dirty and stained, which is usually par for the course because haunted dolls like to get up and do a lot, and they can't really take care of themselves. So this, I think out of all of them, has the most potential. If you compare this one to the last one that I showed you, you can see that the skin tone of the last one was a lot more vibrant and lifelike. This one's a little more dead. So the chances of this one being haunted are very high. So I think we can just skip right ahead to the final step to determine whether or not a doll is haunted. And that is just to rip its head off and see if a ghost comes out. Usually I wouldn't recommend this unless you're a very highly trained professional. So just be warned that if you do this at home, some really bad stuff might come out and you might find your house haunted, and that's just a mess that no one wants to get into. But yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, and you can see that I've removed the head and the ghost has flown out.
I'm going to Dave and Buster.
And when the ghost flies out, usually it'll tell you what its intentions are. This one you can see just wants to go to Dave and Buster's, so it's not a big deal, it's nothing scary. I might just let it go. If it was something more malicious, there's protocol for that, and there are things you could do to take care of it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and take care of yourselves out there.